Good evening and welcome back to Vidane TV. Here for another Tuesday night edition with the RBR Maritime iRacing Group for the Keizer's Auto Clinic 125 at Oxford Plains Raceway in Oxford, Maine. Thank you guys so much for welcoming us into your homes, into your living rooms, your bedrooms, wherever you may be watching. If you're having yourself a little watch party, be sure to take some pictures and post them on social media using hashtag Vidane TV. And again, good evening. I am your host and producer, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., down here in the production trailer, taking a look and making sure we're pushing all the buttons, getting all the visual pleasures that are in front of your face right now. And we're actually joined by Vidane's very own Kevin England and Kyle Young up there in the commentary booth. So we're going to kick it up there. We're going to get ready for some heat racing action. 3 heat races, it looks like, taking the top 9 from each of these heat races. Kyle, how you doing, man?
Paul, doing great. Good evening, everybody. Glad to be here. Glad to see all of you here with us as well. Oxford Plains Speedway, the venue, the RBR Maritime iRacing League, once again the ones that we are playing host to tonight. This should be a very interesting race. Oxford Plains Speedway, a very small short track, very flat, very circular. You really don't have any straightaways here, so it's going to be a very unique challenge for these drivers tonight. We've already got our first heat race lining up, so we're going to be diving into the action here very, very shortly. Kevin, how are we doing tonight on your end?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to this. What a racetrack. It's like these cars are so powerful you could literally turn them into a drift car around here if you wanted to, but it's not going to be the fast way around. It should be really exciting bumper-to-bumper, door-to-door action all night long.
Indeed it shall. We are going to kick things off tonight, as we usually do with the RBR Maritime iRacing League, with 3 10-lap heat races. We will qualify the top 9 into tonight's Keizer's Auto Clinic 125, and this is how we're going to line them up here for heat race number 1. Your pole sitter sporting some new colors this week that I absolutely love. Gorgeous and bright race car that you won't be able to miss. That's the 75 of Mike Alexander. He was the pole sitter in time trials as well. The 83 of Chris Roma will line up to his outside in second. Last week's winner at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Brett Suggs, will line up third in car number 33, and the 97 of Riley Duncan will be in position number 4. Keith McClellan in the number 30 will round out the top 5 with the 67 to Wade Cresswell in the 67, starting in position at number 6. Daniel Vitch in car 29 will line up in position 7 with the 5 of Craig Tully to his outside in position number 8, and completing the top 10 starters and the starting grid for this first heat race, the 70 of Brandon Lively and the 11 of Caleb Urquhart. Once again, we will go 10 laps in distance for this heat race. 9 cars will qualify, so we will send one of them home. I don't believe we run a consolation in this, so this is a sudden death heat race for all of these drivers.
Yeah, key here is just to get a good start, get to the bottom, try and protect that groove, and stay off the curb as the pace car turns left, getting ready for Mike Alexander to kick it off. Green is out, and Mike hammers down. Wow, the third place car just took an abrupt left there as Kelly comes off of turn number 2, and he's going to jump out to your early lead.
Top 5 cars going to single file, going into turns 3 and 4 for the first time. Mike Alexander hanging on to the race lead with Chris Roma in second. Riley Duncan was able to bump himself up 1 position from his 4th place starting spot. He is now 3rd and has the 33 of Brett Suggs all over the back bumper, looking to take that position back, but will not be able to do so just yet. He hangs on, and lap number 2 goes in the books.
Out front, Mike Alexander has a comfortable car and a half lead over top of Chris Roma. Chris trying to make sure he can get down to the curbing, slips up a little bit. That's going to open the door for Riley Duncan. Duncan, fast in practice, smooth, consistent, and he's going to look to see if he can improve his position here as they are going to click the laps off very quickly here tonight, Kyle.
Indeed they will. Only 14 to 15 seconds a lap around this Oxford Plains Speedway. It is 0.38 miles in length, so very short, but it's pretty fast for the configuration that it is in. We'll come around and complete the halfway mark this time by 5 laps are in, 5 laps left to go. Mike Alexander spacing himself out from second place Chris Roma in the 83 by about half a second now. Riley Duncan all over that back bumper trying to find a way around. Brett Suggs is still 4th, and now Keith McClellan taking a quick peek to the inside of Brett Suggs there for position number 4, but not quite there enough to make a move just yet. He'll follow a line here for a few more seconds and see if he can do anything going into 3.
30 car driving underneath the number 33, trying to look, peeking, showing his nose, unable to make the pass there for 4th position.
That battle definitely starting to heat up now for position number 4 with just 2 laps remaining. Suggs pushes up. McClellan going to peek to the inside, coming off of turn number 2. Down the back they go. He doesn't have a nose there, but Suggs is giving him the space, doesn't want to chop him down and spin himself out on this penultimate lap. Now they'll cross the white flag one more time around the Oxford Plains Speedway for our first heat race of the night. Suggs hanging on very well, but up at the front it has been him from the start. Mike Alexander led it from the pole, and he will slide across the start-finish line to pick up the victory here in heat race number 1. The 83 of Chris Roma will finish in 2nd, Riley Duncan 3rd, Brett Suggs 4th, and Keith McClellan will round out the top 5 with the 5 of Craig Tully 6th. Wade Craswell will finish in position number 7. 8th place will go to Daniel Vitch. 9th place to Caleb Urquhart, that 9th and final transfer position, and the odd man out in position number 10 is the 70 machine of Brandon Lively. So heat race number 1 in the books, heat race number 2 taking the grid. Now, here is how we will line them up. Kevin, take us through it.
Matthew Barkhouse starts on the pole in the 15, outside pole Jarrett Butcher in the number 54, Roger Down inside row number 2, Mark Williams in the 42 starts in the 4th position. Your current point leader, 34, Mike Rhino, will start from the 5th position. On the outside, Kyle Gammon in the 98. The 89 of Conrad Murphy starts 7th. 8th goes to Brad Hayes in the number 17. Nicholas Mott in the 52 is going to kick it off in the 9th position. And John Gahan in the number 16 will start shotgun on the field, 10th position for the number 16 as they roll behind the pace car. Heat race number 2 about to get underway.
So once again, 10 cars fighting for 10 laps for 9 positions. Actually, check that. I believe we may only have 9 cars out on the racetrack yet. No, we do have 10. Never mind. Quick glimpse through the field. I thought I saw 9, but we do have all 10 out there. John Gahan running around on the bottom side of the racetrack and kind of threw off that back row just a little bit. So saw some good stuff there in that first heat race. We'll see how things take over here in heat race number 2. Some heavy hitters up on that front row. The 15 of Matthew Barkhouse, the 54 of Jared Butcher. Some awesome looking machines up there getting ready to compete for the first time here tonight, their first racing laps of the night here at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Pace car getting ready to duck down onto the safety of pit road. Barkhouse on the bottom, Butcher on the top, green flag flies, and we are underway with heat race number 2. A pretty even start for the top 2. They'll stay that way going into turn number 1. Hang on, Mike Rhino was all sorts of out of shape. He made contact with the 42 of Mark Williams. Williams slides, falls to the back of the field, gets it going, but the caution flag does not fly. That could be huge for him. If he doesn't get a qualifying or a caution flag, he will be the odd man out of a qualifying spot.
Yeah, up front, the battle continues as the 15. And now the yellow comes out, 15 out front, and they're going to slow the field down to catch the pace car. This is a good break for the 42. As I think the trouble may have come for the 98.
It did originate there with the 98, the 16 of John Gahan, and the 89 machine of Conrad Murphy. A little bit of contact going into turn number 3 sent the 89 of Murphy playing in the kitty litter on the outside of that turn. Paul, you get to get on the replay command for the first time tonight. What did you see with that one?
All about the on-play, the replay here, brought to you by Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. Be sure to check them out at kickassbeefjerky.com. Sim500 is the promo code. We're going to focus in the year. The 98 gets a little bit of a bump ski there from the 89. Straightens him back out, but looks like he was able to get himself... the 16 gets into the 89 there, and unfortunately nowhere for the 98 to go. And you can see him down there, as you said, Kyle, playing in the kitty litter just a little bit, but... big time damage there on the right front quarter panel. It's gonna be exciting to watch this this 9th to 10th place battle here, because there's a couple of damaged cars running towards the back of the pack, and the 98 car is the newest one of those guys. So, man, we'll see what he does. He's able to grab a gear. It looks like he's under full power, so no engine damage there. It just looks like it's sheet metal damage so far, Kyle.
Yeah, it sure does there, Paul. You saw it there with a 16 going into turn number 3, that little inside curve. It basically looks and acts just like a rumble strip on a road course. Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily act like a rumble strip like a road course because you don't want to touch that thing at all. That is a very thick, very high curb that does not do you any good. So that is going to be something that these drivers are going to battle all throughout the night tonight, and you just saw it bit John Gahan and the 89 of Conrad Murphy in a negative manner. You do not want to touch that curb. You want to keep those left side tires as close to that curb as you can, but if you touch it, things will go bad, as you just saw there with the 16 and the 89.
Yeah, it certainly bounces the car out and can do some pretty significant damage to the front end. I want to go back to lap 1, coming out of turn 4 on the first lap. You saw the 15, Jared Butcher, to the outside, trying to get down low. He got a little tap from Roger down, got the car completely sideways. Then Roger tagged that left front, pushed the car straight, and the 54 was able to gather it up and come back into the third position. Not sure if he has damage on that left front. We'll have to watch on this restart as pace car is getting ready to pull in.
It will be a legal green-white checkered finish. We were counting caution laps through that caution period here, so lap number 8 will go on the boards. We'll only have 2 to go once the green flag flies. That happens now, and Matthew Barkhouse runs away from the field. They're already 3 wide for position number 3 going into turn number 1. That quickly goes back to a side-by-side battle between the 17 machine of Brad Hayes and the 34 of Mike Rhino. We've got more trouble in the back. The 16 of John Gahan is around once again, and the caution flag flies for the second time. This will create a green-white checkered to wrap up heat race number 2.
Out front, it was a good restart for Matthew Barkhouse. We saw him last week. Just phenomenal on the restarts. He gets to repeat that again here tonight. Second place car is Jared Butcher. He got a good run on that restart, was able to drive and take advantage of the inside lane to get back to that second spot. Mike Rano in third. Fourth is Brad Hayes, and Roger down, stuck to the outside, waiting for the hole. They were 3 wide, as you described it, Kyle, and he's able to get to the 5th position.
Taking a look right now at the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay, we're going to see exactly what went down there. And as you alluded to, we were having some trouble there with the 16 car, the John Gahan machine. Not for the first time tonight, so tough goings here for that machine. And we're going to take a look here from the instant replay up way on top of the racetrack from the blimp, and you can see 89, 98 running side by side. 42 is down low, 3 wide in front of them. Just looks like the black and green machine gets a little bit out of shape, sends the 16 down towards the infield, down to the kitty litter, hitting one of those, almost hitting one of those little jumps there where it's holding up the street lights. But again, he is able to grab a gear, get on going, not any kind of crazy damage. So it's still going to be crazy to see who's going to end up finishing in that coveted 9th position, as we're only taking 9 from each heat race to finish out the 27 car field.
Indeed we are, Paul. No consolation, last chance qualifier, nothing like that after these heat races. So these are sudden death. This is your only opportunity to make the field. Right now, the way that it stands, it appears that John Gahan is the odd man out at the moment. Kyle Gambon holding on to that final transfer position. We do have 3 attempts at a green-white checker finish if we need them. So we'll see how this first attempt goes. Hopefully it will be the only attempt that we need in order to finish this heat race up. But that battle at the back of the field definitely going to be one to watch. And actually now check that. It will flip-flop at the back of the field. So John Gahan is going to go into position number 9, and Kyle Gambon will be scratch in 10th.
Barkhouse and Butcher are able to bring this back to green. Everybody's on pins and needles here. They want to make sure they don't make any mistakes to just get through this final thing. As Brickhouse, great restart, gets out by 2 car lengths. 54 tries to get back down there side by second. He's going to have to settle in for 3rd.
Mike Rhino sneaking underneath of Jared Butcher for position number 2. He takes that over. Butcher opens the door for the 17 of Brad Hayes. Hayes will fill it, coming to the white flag. Mike Rhino, all sorts of out of shape in front of them. He saves it, but does so by opening up the inside line for Jared Butcher to come back by. Butcher goes to second. Hayes going to try to steal third. It'll be Matthew Barkhouse, though, off of turn number 4 to take the victory. He will win heat number 2. Spinning across the line is Brad Hayes. He comes across in 4th. It's Jarrett Butcher for position number 2. Mike Rhino comes home on the bottom step of the podium there in 3rd. As just mentioned, Brad Hayes 4th. Roger Down completing the top 5. Conrad Murphy is 6th. Mark Williams 7th. John Gahan finishes in 8th. The final transfer position goes to the 52 of Nicholas Mott, leaving the 98 of Kyle Gammon outside looking in. He will go home tonight and miss the R. Keizer's Auto Clinic 125.
Yeah, Mott was out in the back of the field, able to hold half car length at one point. Gammon got to the back bumper, took a peek coming out of turn number 2, but just wasn't able to get there. And it's going to be Gammon going to the house as we set up for heat race number 3.
Heat number 3 getting on the grid, 3rd and final 10-lap heat race on the evening. We'll line them up like this. Your pole sitter is the 53 machine of Cole Butcher. To Butcher's outside in the 38 is Travis Roma. Inside of row number 2 is the 78 car of John Fitzpatrick. And the Napa Auto Parts number 24 of Jake Goodwin will start in position number 4. Completing the top 5 starters in the 32 machine is Ashton Tucker, and he will have the 00 of Tanton Woolridge on his outside in position number 6. Taylor Layton drives the number 27 machine. He will line up in position number 7, and Derek Gates in car number 19 will start in position number 8. Starting scratch on the field in this one, car number 199, that is Brandon Campbell. We only have 9 for this heat race, and it doesn't even look like all 9 are there because Brandon Campbell has not taken the grid. So we will roll with 8 cars for this final heat race. No pressure for these guys on having to qualify into the field, so that will be nice for them. All they will be battling for are starting positions for tonight's R. Keizer's 125.
And we'll have to check with race officials how that pans out, as if one of those other non-qualifiers, are they the first alternate, given only 8 started this race? We'll have to see how that works.
So the field will work their way down the back straightaway, approaching the green flag. These guys' first opportunity to do some racing here at the Oxford Plains Speedway. 10 laps the distance. Everybody will qualify. Pace car to pit road. Green flag is out. We are racing for our final heat race on the evening. Cole Butcher will take the race lead. Inside opens up for John Fitzpatrick. He'll fill that hole underneath of Travis Roma. Roma going to try to get back down to the bottom and succeeds in doing so before the 2 machine of Ashton Tucker fills it in. Now as they come off of turn number 4, everybody is single file, and the first lap is complete.
Nose to tail as Jake Goodwin gets a little tap from the number 27 of Taylor Layton off of turn number 2. He's able to keep it going down on the curbing. Layton up high out of turn number 4. It's going to open the door for Tanton Woolridge to take a look. Woolridge right to that left rear corner, trying to hunt any option to make the turn. Wow, what a wiggle off of turn number 2. And the 27 up high again, Taylor Layton, and this time Tanton Woolridge able to take advantage of that. He's going to sneak underneath, and he's going to pull into position number 7.
Taylor Layton on the struggle bus here early on in heat race number 3, sacrifices that spot to Tanton Woolridge. Those guys will have a little bit of work to do to reel in the 24 car of Jake Goodwin, who is currently riding in position number 5. Everybody kind of riding for now. A little bit of a curb contact there by the 38 of Travis Roma. Got the car a little out of shape, and Ashton Tucker thought about taking advantage of that, but just couldn't quite fit the nose of his number 2 machine underneath of the 38 of Roma, so he will stay in line and continue to work on that. He enters a little bit higher into turn number 3 that time, trying to build some momentum through the center of the turn and carry that off, but just does not have the room to fit underneath the 38. Now a bit of a bumper tag to the back bumper of the 38, letting him know that he's there and he wants by.
Everybody knows the tail tight for position 3, 4, 5 right now. It's the 24, Jake Goodwin, looking to hunt the car in front of him. You see Ashton Tucker in the number 32, just a little bit high, trying to get the car high so he could drive off low and possibly get a run. This track, just like a circle, Kyle, you're on the gas the entire time. You're somewhat sideways. You got more power than you need, and sometimes you use the power to drive the car through, but you're constantly turning even on the straightaways.
You really are, Kevin. There's no place on this racetrack except for maybe in your pit stall where that steering wheel will stay at a perfectly straight angle. It's turning at some velocity all the way around this small little short track. Checkered flag flies here for heat number 3. Cole Butcher will take the victory. He led the entire way. John Fitzpatrick finishes second. Travis Roma third. Ashton Tucker fourth. Jake Goodwin will complete your top 5 finishers. The remainder of the field looks like this. 6th place finisher was the 00 of Tan Woolridge. Taylor Layton finishes in position number 7, and 8th and final finisher in the final heat race was the 19 of Derek Gates. So there we have it, Kevin. Our heat races are in. We have a quick little warm-up session here for these drivers to get their final laps in, make some adjustments, get fully comfortable for tonight's Keizer Auto Clinic 125. We have 27 cars that will start this event for 125 laps around the Oxford Plains Speedway.
It looks like 4 cars did make the cut. The 2 of Todd Cousins, the 98 of Kyle Gammon, the 70 of Brandon Lively, and I believe Lewis Mason also did not make the field to number 84. They're going to have to watch this one from behind pit wall as the car's out for practice.
So a few more minutes for these guys to try to throw in some heat and some rubber onto this racetrack. As mentioned, it will be a 125-lap feature event. We have 2 different winners after our first 2 events. 2 weeks ago, the season opener went to the 34 machine of Mike Rhino, and last week's dramatic feature at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway went to the lone American in the RBR Maritime iRacing League, that being the 33 car of Brett Suggs. Now, as we have seen throughout the first 2 events, the VEINOTTE'S Pole Award Challenge up for grabs for whoever wants to take it. Tonight, that would be the 75 machine of Mike Alexander. We've been getting that award a little bit wrong these first couple weeks. What that award does is it awards $15 to the first driver who goes from essentially the pole award to the back of the field to try to charge their way through. So in week number 1, we saw Mike Alexander take advantage of that. He is your pole sitter for tonight's feature event, so if he decides to do that once again here tonight, he will pocket another $15 and make his journey to victory lane a little bit more challenging. But if he decides he wants to keep the pole position, it will go to the next driver in line, which would happen to be his brother, Matthew Barkhouse, and so on and so forth until eventually somebody claims that $15 and starts in the back.
Talking about points, there's a tie for the points after 2 races. Mike Rano and Brett Suggs tied for first. Third is Matt Barkhouse, Mike Alexander in fourth, and Conrad Murphy is your top 5 in points. 6 races make up the season. This is race number 3. They run Langley, Myrtle Beach, and North Wilkesboro to close out this run. And this racetrack should be interesting for 125 laps, Kyle. When you look at this racetrack, there's no outside fence except for the front stretch. And I have to imagine that a couple cars are going to do some runs out. And one of the things that is when they come off the corner, sometimes they can run the car super hard up off the corner and go a little bit over that berm and then angle the car in. If they get a little space, they can actually use that extra space to their advantage.
We saw a couple guys in those heat races kind of experimenting a little bit with the track limits, seeing what they could do with some of the outer grooves. I think it's going to be very difficult to actually get a legitimate high line here tonight. It's just such a flat racetrack. The laps go by so quickly. 125 laps here really isn't a ton of time. I would be surprised if we do see a topside, so this could be kind of an argy-bargy, beating and banging, move your way through the field type of race around the bottom.
Yeah, the other challenge is it becomes a bit of a conveyor belt with lap cars. They're going to have to go to the high side and yield to the leaders if they're coming through, as the grid is on the track with Mike Alexander and Matthew Barkhouse taking your top 2 positions here on the start of tonight's feature.
So looking through here, it appears that Mike Alexander going to keep his starting position at the front of the field. So that means that his brother Matthew Barkhouse has the opportunity for the VEINOTTE'S Pole Award Challenge, and he decides to take it. So the Starbucks number 15 machine of Matthew Barkhouse will go tail. He will receive $15 for doing so, and we will be able to track him and his journey throughout the field to try to work his way back up to the front to try to win tonight's Keizer's Auto Clinic 125. So that'll put Cole Butcher up on the outside of the front row. Row number 2 will be Jarrett Butcher, or check that actually, that is going to put Chris Roma on the outside front row, starting in position number 2. Cole Butcher will start in 3rd, John Fitzpatrick 4th. 5th place will go to the 54 of Jarrett Butcher, and starting 6th is one of the guys tied for the points lead, Mike Rhino. 7th place starter is the 97 of Riley Duncan. Starting in position number 8 is the 38 of Travis Roma. 9th place starter is the 33 of Brett Suggs will start in 8th. Roma will start 9th, and Brett Hayes will complete the top 10.
Base car's in. You're looking at Alexander. Starter has his eye on it. He's going to drop to green, and Alexander races off. Everybody going to try to get quickly to that bottom line.
Indeed they will. Going to be very difficult with 27 cars all double file around this racetrack to fit in, and we already have trouble. The 17 machine of Brad Hayes is spun around in turn number 3. I believe he had some help in doing so. He kind of slid through turn number 3, gathered that car back up, and drove away from the scene. So a very minor incident there for the 17 of Brad Hayes. But the first caution flag in tonight's Keizer's Auto Clinic 125 coming out early here in turn number 3. Looks like a few other cars were involved there, Paul. The 24 of Jake Goodwin went around. The 89 of Conrad Murphy also got a piece of it. So a couple cars starting their race off a bit negatively here tonight.
Calamity, as we'll call it here on the Sim 500, or check that, the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay, and be sure to use the code Sim500 for 19% off, and we'll be able to get you a little bit of a discount there. And we'll take a look at this this little bit of a wreck ski here, the 17 car we're going to focus in on, and we're going to see exactly what happened here as we're looking in on the blimp view. You can see the 30 closes right up on the back bumper on the 17, gives them a little bit of room. And gives him a little bit of a shot. Sends the 17 car around the 24. Goodwin does a great job, gets on around. Tries to head on down low, but unfortunately clips the 89 car, sends him around. So the good news here, not any kind of big-time damage or anything like that, but under an early caution here. So definitely a tough break for these guys. Do want to give a quick shout-out here as we're under caution to the Royal Volts, the band there from Canada. They actually provided us with the theme song, the opening theme song here for tonight, the RBR Maritime group. Be sure to check them out. We're linked up on Facebook on our page, Vidain TV. Check them out on Facebook. They are on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. As we're getting ready to go green already, Kyle.
We sure are, Paul. Only a few laps to get that one sorted out, so we'll go green here at the completion of lap number 5. Mike Alexander hangs on to the race lead. Chris Roma in position number 2, who actually has the Royal Volts on his back bumper of that number 83 machine. Green flag flies. We are underway once again. Great restart. Oh, and we are going to go back to caution immediately. We have some trouble right off the bat. The 78 of John Fitzpatrick and the 97 of Riley Duncan get together. I saw Fitzpatrick go into the outside wall. Riley Duncan kind of held his way out of the wall and slid into the sand on the exterior of turn number 1. Looks like that one came all on his lonesome there, Paul. I think Fitzpatrick just got a little bit too antsy there on the loud pedal coming off to the restart.
You may very well be right. We're going to take a look at the very special paint scheme there for Riley Duncan, the 97. He's actually got that car painted up for his mom, the black and pink Breast Cancer Awareness Month cars. It is October, and you can see the 78 gets a little bit out of shape, gets on down to the 54. Unfortunately, nowhere for Riley Duncan to go. He gets caught up in that mess and sent around into the kitty litter on the outside of the track, but he is able to grab a gear, get on going. Doesn't look like he's got any kind of big-time damage to that race car, so we will see where Riley Duncan ends up later on tonight.
Yeah, Kyle, I have to think that Mike Alexander is just happy to be out front, wanting to stay up there, just not make any mistakes. They're allowed one set of tires, so you have to wonder if they'll even pit for it and lose the track position. Track position's got to be so important here tonight.
We have seen tire strategy and, in general, pit strategy be a part of these first 2 races with the RBR Maritime iRacing League, and so far, if you're thinking about that already, there's really not much reason to be too concerned about the tires just yet. We have yet to go a complete lap under green flag here in the first 10, so tires, as long as you haven't been involved in any of these incidents, still pretty stout, looking very good. We're doubled up, ready to go back to green flag racing. We will complete lap 10 at the drop of the green flag. Mike Alexander and Cole Butcher, your front row.
Opportunity knocks for Chris Roma on the inside, row number 2. He's going to look to see if he can tuck right into the back bumper and stay underneath that 53. Got a fender underneath him, but he's not able to do it. It's the 53 of Cole Butcher, able to hold in second. He's still up to the high side, but he's able to get down low now, and he's off to chase your leader, Mike Alexander.
Single file throughout the first 5 or 6 cars. The first side-by-side battle is between Ashton Tucker and Brett Suggs off of turn number 2. That is for position number 6. Suggs is on the outside trying to fit in. Tucker in car number 2 trying to take over that position. Suggs giving him plenty of space, trying to work that outside line. Struggling at the moment. Tucker with the advantage. He will clear coming off of turn 2. Suggs trying to get down. Not quite clear. Conrad Murphy shoves it in there, and he will continue the conveyor belt. Now Brett Suggs will find a space in line. As more position changing goes on up front, Mike Rhino is now stuck on the outside there in position number 5.
Suggs got down to the bottom and then immediately put a fender underneath the number 89. He's going to try and contest that position and put Conrad Murphy to the high side. Really complicated to run the high side here. You want to try and get down as quickly as possible as we see side-by-side battle up there for position number 5, 6, 7. The 2 wants it. 34, Mike Rhino trying to hang on the outside. He's got a gap and he's just going to pull down and yield the position.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of that big gap before it closes up and you're stuck on the outside like Brett Suggs just was on that initial restart there. And as we see the 89 of Conrad Murphy now, but he is able to find a hole right in front of Mark Williams. A couple cars in that group bounce off the inside curb there in turn number 1, but they keep it straight, keep it going. We're single file throughout the first 10 to 12 cars or so. We got a 2-wide battle going on for position number 13. Derek Gates in the 19 machine getting around the 67 of Wade Craswell. That's opening up the door for the 16 of John Gahan to file through. Taylor Layton and Matthew Barkhouse are now side by side just behind that. Barkhouse, great start to his race so far. He is already up inside the top 15, just 18 laps into this race. Actually, check that, he's 16th, going for 15th now. Vino's Pole Award Challenge going quite well. Hold up, we got trouble in front of him. Mark Williams in the 42 gets spun around. Cars are scattered all over the racetrack to avoid. Brad Hayes spins around once again there, involved. A couple cars making some slight contact. But caution flag number 3 coming out for, as just mentioned the third time there, with the 42 of Mark Williams getting some help there going into turn 3.
Yeah, we'll come to the replay. We're going to see that the 21 not able to get the car slowed down. Roger Dawn into the back of the number 42. Just, you could take a hand if you were standing on the racetrack, Kyle, and give a little push and turn one of these cars aside.
Viewing the replay right now, you can see, just as you said, you can just kind of kick the 42 around just a little bit. Unfortunately, it looks like the 19 was a little bit of involved there. 97 does a great job. A wall went up. The 19 as well, 78. A lot of cars were able to really get on the binder, slow those race cars up. And there you see the 24 Napa machine of Jake Goodwin. He's able to avoid calamity as well. So tough break for the 42. Is going to be a little bit of damage on that race car. I imagine he's going to come down pit road and see if he can get the virtual hammers on that car. But back up front, looks like Mike Alexander, that number 75, going to be holding on to the lead.
He does continue to lead the way here in the Keizer Auto Clinic 125. He has done so from the pole, almost a fifth of the way through this one already. Cole Butcher hanging.
Cole Butcher in second position, Roma in third. These guys get a little bit of a breather. They're wide knuckle all the way around here as they run nose to tail in that green, trying to tick off the laps, but they like to get a little bit of a break. It gets tedious though when they get side by side. However, on the restart, is the car on the outside at a disadvantage. We've seen it over and over again as they get side by side for the restart here. The biggest challenge, get to the bottom and get there cleanly. Do not let everybody drive by and lose all that track position.
You're absolutely right, Kevin. And these guys really don't have too much of a break here. Only a third of a mile, 0.35 miles there as you see it on your screen with the track info. Pace car dipping off. We're already going green. These guys have no chance to really collect their thoughts as we're under caution and back under green just like that in a blink of an eye.
Underway once again, Mike Alexander to the race lead. Side by side for second. Chris Roma will take over that position from Cole Butcher. Butcher drops in line nearly 3 wide, a few cars back, but that'll stay at a couple side-by-side battles. Mike Rhino getting around Jarrett Butcher. Ashton Tucker, oh, hang on, Jarrett Butcher, he is around. No, he is not. He's saving it. Hang on, up to the outside. Almost had that one saved, but got tapped from the 97 of Riley Duncan, and that finished him off. Almost a great piece of driving by the 54 of Jarrett Butcher to hang on to that race car, but he started sliding to the outside of the racetrack. Riley Duncan just couldn't find a way around in time, made contact with the right rear of Butcher's number 54, and sent him spinning to the outside of turn 3.
Yeah, going back to the replay, we're going to find the 89 plate rolled in that Conrad Murphy. Not sure if he had a piece of the curb before he got in there, but he was able to run into the back of the number 54, got him sideways. They got locked together on the backstretch. And I thought they would get off of each other and keep going, but unfortunately everybody else came into the scene.
For sure, we're taking a look at the Keycast Beef Jerky instant replay right now, and you see the 54 getting out of shape. 30, Brett Suggs does a great job heading on down low, but unfortunately, the 54 out of shape gets a shot from the 33 machine of Brett Suggs and kicks him on out to the outer kitty litter, as we've been calling it here at Oxford Plains. So tough break for the 54 of Jared Butcher. Looks like he's actually going to retire from this race. That's going to leave us with 24 cars that still in the lead lap, but 24 cars that are still in this race.
Yeah, and I don't. But Cole.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle's having some problems with his microphone. Out front, Mike Alexander is still up front. Chris Roma, and that's going to shuffle the deck a little bit. Travis Roma right behind him. Mike Rhino in fourth. Ashton Tucker is running fifth. We are 30 laps into this event, and so far it's not disappointed. This is what we expect. Short, tight racing, side-by-side, fender-to-fender, banging off the back bumpers, trying to get whatever they can. Not a lot of real estate to work with, and everybody is going to try and take as much as they can to get forward. Getting ready for the restart after caution number 4. Mike Alexander in control. Pace car turns left. Alexander kicks it. He's going to be off cleanly to the front straightaway through turn number 1 and heading off to the back straightaway.
Top 2 get single filed out. We're side by side for position number 3. That battle now ends and goes to a battle for position 4. Ashton Tucker down low, Mike Rhino up top. Everybody, for the most part, inside the top 10, down on the bottom side, except for Mike Rhino and Keith McClellan. They are trapped on the outside, trying to find a hole. Tucker gets around the 34. Brett Suggs is underneath of him now. Craig Tully right on his heels, trying to keep the 34 out there and hang him out to dry, send him to the back. It's a points leader, very strong competitor, so of course those drivers are going to try to take advantage of this and send him as far back as they can.
Yeah, Mike Rhino running up to the high side. He comes off the berm on the front straightaway, winding the car up. He's leaving a lot of room to the inside, being respectful in case somebody pushes up, just waiting to see if he can get himself a hole. And look who's right there, Matthew Barkhouse from starting in scratch. He is up to the 8th position and challenging, and you got to give a call to Mike Rhino. That is not a comfortable position. Now he's going to be able to tuck in behind Barkhouse, settles back into that 7th position, as out front, Alexander has a comfortable 1 car length lead.
What an impressive drive through the field thus far for Matthew Barkhouse in car number 15. He took advantage of the Vino's Pole Award Challenge. He has already worked his way back up to position number 7, and we are on lap number 37. That goes in the books now, so a great drive through the field for the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. You gotta believe, Kevin, that as we continue on with this race, he's just going to continue to charge his way through the field. He very well could be a contender to win this thing.
Got my eye on the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Ashton Tucker wants that 3rd position from 4th. Out front, though, you could see Mike Alexander's got some company. Chris Roma to the back bumper. Now he's a half car length and hunting your leader. Getting good entry into the corner and good drive off. The number 83 is looking tough there in that 2nd position.
Great start to this race thus far for Chris Roma, able to hang right with Mike Alexander for the moment. Hasn't been able to get around him just yet. Still plenty of laps for that to happen, trying to figure out where exactly that 75 machine is better than him at the moment. Those two with a very nice gap back to position number 3. It's a little over a second now to where Travis Roma, Ashton Tucker, and Brett Suggs are all running. Tucker looking to the inside, coming off of turn number 2. Roma's giving him a bit of a hole. That hole is still there going into the 3, and Tucker is going to fill it. We are side by side off of turn 4.
We got side-by-side action all the way through the pack. Out back, Brad Hayes gets into the back bumper of Trenton Woolridge, and then he was able to pull past. He's going to take over that 15th position. Woolridge, Tatum is going to slide back into 16th as battles all over the racetrack here at Oxford.
Starting to get our way into a green flag run here. These drivers logging some laps, getting some room in between each other to get competitive. Seeing some side-by-side racing here with the 30 machine of Keith McClellan and the 5 of Craig Tully. Tully had an opening behind him, didn't want to mess around, didn't want to get hung out to dry, so he allows the Bud Light number 30 machine of Keith McClellan to get on by and take over that 8th place position. So now they will all fall into line and continue to log some laps here. Lots of space amongst the top 10. Everybody kind of settling in. They're starting to find their advantages. And as soon as I say that, Mike Rhino with a massive shove through 1 and 2 opens the door for Keith McClellan, and he fills it.
Up front, it continues to be Mike Alexander in the lead. He's starting to see some cars out in front of him, but that's going to clean up as there's a yellow on the speedway.
Trouble over in turn number 4. The 42 of Mark Williams is spun around once again. So the troublesome night continues for him. He had some more help, and that appears to have come from the number 89 of Conrad Murphy, Paul.
You have to wonder if Conrad got into the curve a little bit there.
Yeah, and we're seeing the 42 car gets a little bit of a shot there from the 89 car. Gets him sent on around. Oh, big shot from the 11 car. I was just about to say, doesn't look like there's any kind of big-time damage or anything like that. But, man, that was a big shot from the 11 car. That's going to be the 11 of Caleb Urquhart. And there you see the 24 car doing a great job. Jake Goodwin of wallowing that car up and making sure he doesn't get into the back of the 42. So a little bit of damage there in the back of the field, but looks like everybody is still moving. Still got 24 cars in this race. 24 cars on the lead lap.
During that previous caution flag, not exactly sure what the ordeal was, but both of the Butcher drivers, Jarrett Butcher and Cole Butcher, retired from the event, so that kind of makes me wonder if maybe there was some type of issue away from the race that brings their night to an end. Unfortunate that is the first time that we've seen both of them compete here in the RBR Maritime iRacing League this season. They always strong competitors when we see them race here on Verdane TV, and we're looking good at the start of this race, but unfortunately the two of them have retired from the event. They are the only two retirees of the 26 starters. As Paul just mentioned, all 24 are still on the lead lap. We're double filed up, going to go back green flag here at the completion of lap number 51.
Alexander, Chris Roma, Tucker, Suggs, and Travis Roma, your top 5, as Alexander kicks it off again one more time to turn number 1 with a good restart. Now he has clean racetrack in front of him due to the yellow. Second, Chris Roma is right on the chase.
Top 3 cars will go single file. Side-by-side battling starts with the 38 of Travis Roma inside of the 33 of Brett Suggs. Suggs all on his lonesome out there for a few rows of cars. Roma going to just about clear going into turn number 3. Keith McClellan now underneath. McClellan with a slight little wiggle, but is able to get good position underneath of Suggs' 33 car. And the caution flag is out again. The 19 machine in trouble there as the leaders approach him in turns number 1 and 2. That is Derek Gates. Looks like the entirety of the front end a little bit chewed up on that number 19 machine. He found trouble over there in turns number 1 and 2. Doesn't look too terribly bad. Obviously, a little bit of front-end damage there, but he continues to roll on. And yeah, the theme of the night continues here, Paul. These guys that are finding some trouble, they are not alone in that. They're having some help.
Yeah, for sure, and that's one of those things here with Oxford Plains Speedway here in the state of Maine. We're going to take a look. We're going to focus the 19 car, and man, it's one of those things. Kevin alluded to it. There you see the shot from the 52, sends the 19 out into the kitty litter there. It's one of those things, man, where you're really not pointing the wheel in a straight motion at all on this racetrack unless you're on pit road. So it's just a little bit of a help there. And, well, there we saw a lot of help there from the 52 car getting into the back to the 19. But he is able to grab a gear and point it on straight and get it on going here. But, man, oh, man, lots of cautions here. This is one of those tracks where it's pretty much just a circle all the way around. And we always make the joke that, oh, yeah, circle track racing. But, you're really not pointing the wheel straight at all, Kyle.
No, you definitely are not. This is a very, very unique racetrack and completely different from what these guys have seen in these first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks we've been at Southern National Motorsports Park in the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So faster, high-banked short tracks. This week, a flat, a little bit slower, but still fairly competitive speeds around this racetrack. So it definitely a complete game changer from what these drivers have had to focus on and compete with in the first 2 weeks of the season. And we're seeing at the moment that Mike Alexander has been the best thus far. We've seen it throughout these first two races too, Kevin, how important track position is. Mike Alexander starting on the pole. He's led all of these laps so far. Mike Rhino had a front row starting spot in the first race of the season at Southern National Motorsports Park. Ended up going wire to wire. Very, very important to do your job in qualifying in your heat race so you can have an advantage throughout the feature.
No doubt, in any of these racetracks where track position is king, you want to start out front and see if you can protect it. And so far, Mike Alexander just doing a spectacular job as they're getting ready to kick it off one more time.
Pace car goes to pit road. Mike Alexander, Chris Roma, the front row. Big wiggle out of the two of Ashton Tucker. That's going to stack everybody up behind him. But, oh no, as soon as I thought that they were going to survive it, Mike Rhino in the 34 goes around. The 97 Riley Duncan is also facing the wrong way. Big, big trouble for one of the drivers tied for the points lead. The 34 of Mike Rhino getting turned around and will have to fight his way back to the front from the back of the field here in the second half of this event.
Big winner in that exchange was Keith McClellan in the 30. He got bounced way out of turn number 2, and then the yellow flew. He was out in no man's land trying to evade the action, and he's going to be able to maintain that 7th position as we look at the replay. And just a chain event started when the number 2 got sideways on the restart. 33 finally to the inside on one of the restarts, got caught up in the action there as he took a tag from the 15.
Cautions, breed cautions, breed cautions, breed cautions. And no difference here tonight. As you can see, the 34 getting a little bit of help there. You see the 97 of Riley Duncan. He's around as well. Again, doesn't look like there's any kind of big-time damage. Just a couple of cars pointed in the very wrong direction here, Kevin.
Is that caution 6, 7? I'm losing count here trying to keep track. We know the first one was the 17, tapped by the 30. 21 got into the 42 for the second one. And we saw the 42, the 19, the 34 involved in the last few rounds as caution number 7 that was. It sure looks like it's going to be that kind of race. Is everybody just trying to do whatever they can? You know, as much as you see the yellow flag fly, we're halfway through this race, and these drivers know they're just going to have to press for every inch on this racetrack, Kyle.
Indeed they will. We've definitely seen that up to this point. As you just mentioned, we are beyond the halfway mark here tonight. Lap number 64 currently being contested under yellow, so we are now on the downhill slope of tonight's feature event, the Keizer's Auto Clinic 125. It's been Mike Alexander the entire way. Chris Roma and Travis Roma have been up in the front throughout the entirety, just haven't been able to get quite up to Mike Alexander just yet. Ashton Tucker, who kind of stacked things up there on that previous restart, will line up in position number 4. And last week's winner at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Brett Suggs, will line up in position number 5. Keeping you up to date on Matthew Barkhouse's charge through the field, he is up to position number 6. Green flag goes out. Alexander to the race lead. Chris Roma immediately falls in line down on the bottom. A much better restart throughout the field there as everybody gets up through the gears properly, up to race pace, and they'll drive their way into turn number 3. Side-by-side action with the 33 of Brett Suggs on the bottom. Ashton Tucker in car number 2 up top. They are battling for position number 4 as Keith McCullen gets around Matthew Barkhouse for position 6. Short-lived green flag run as the caution flag flies for the 8th time tonight. We have, looks like, let's see, is that the 29 machine of Daniel Vitch? It is. He was down on the apron there in turn number 4. Oh, we actually have a car upside down. That was the 67 of Wade Craswell. Craswell got turned around there in turn number 3. Vitch got into the door and sent him on his lid.
Pulling up the old kick-ass beef jerky instant replay here, and man, oh man, a couple of damaged race cars in that one, as you made mention, Kyle. The 67 getting flipped up on his lid, just pulling up the old chopper view. We're going to take a look at this from high above the Oxford Plains Speedway, and we're going to take a look and we're going to focus in on that number 67. As you can see here, coming may have a little bit of a help from the number 21 here. We're going to take a look at it here in real time. See, 67 looks like he was a little bit slow on that outside line. Gets a shot from the 21. 21 gets a shot from the 42. And man, oh man, the 29 sends the 67 up on his top. Man, I give him a 4 out of 10 for style points. It wasn't very cool, but it looks like the 67 is going to retire to pit road, already 4 laps down here. But back up front, still Mike Alexander going to be leading this race as we take him back to green, Kyle.
A rough go there for caution flag number 8. That will all but knock Wade Craswell out of contention here tonight. As you just mentioned, Paul, he is now 4 laps down as the field clicks off lap number 71 and doubles up here for this restart. Man, Kevin, been a war of attrition so far in the Keizer's Auto Clinic 125. We'll see if things can clean up here in these final 53 laps, but attrition definitely the main factor in tonight's feature.
Yeah, you see these drivers are certainly elbows up as we see some of them starting to come forward from the back. The 23rd starting spot was John Gahan. He's currently running 8th as the green is out. And again, the 33, Brett Suggs, stuck to the outside lane. He's got the 30 of Keith McClellan in his tire tracks, but as soon as he gets down, yellow comes out.
Trouble off of turn number 2. We've got a few familiar faces involved with this one. Looks like the 17 of Brad Hayes finds more trouble. The 42 of Mark Williams slides to the inside. Brad Hayes getting caught up by, I believe that was the 00 of Tanton Woolridge that got a nose to the inside and kind of spun him around there. Hayes spun around in the middle of the field coming off of turn number 2. Lots of cars scattering to avoid, and Mark Williams just getting a little bit edged there in the left door and took a trip to the infield.
Hey, Zeus Marimba with all the replays here. Going to take a look. You see the double out, gets into the back of the 17, spins one around. Mark Williams, the 42. He gets a little bit of a shot, and he does a great job of welding that car up before he hits the sand pile, holding up that light post there that doesn't actually have any lights here in iRacing for some reason. But does a great job. He grabs the gear, gets on going, spins the tire through the dirt. Ticks off the landscaper there, but everybody does a great job going on high, avoiding any additional damage there. So a tough break for the 42 car. Been a long night. Looks like it's going to be the first car scored 1 lap down so far, Kyle.
I was just looking through there afterwards. The 00 of Tanton Woolridge found some more trouble under the first couple pace laps after caution flag. He had made contact with the 34 of Mike Rhino going into turn number 1, again under caution, and actually slid down into pit wall and nosed that car right into the edge of the exit of pit road. So things just going from bad to worse for the 00 of Tanton Woolridge, now with some significant front end damage on that Woolley Motorsports number 00. So he'll have to overcome that variable for the remainder of tonight's race.
As challenging as it is on the racing service, the pit road here is equally as challenging. Getting in the end of pit road, you literally hang a 90-degree left-hand turn to get in that small little road that comes out to the backstretch. And it's just an interesting racetrack. It was built back in 1950s or 60s. It was originally dirt, then they transformed it into asphalt, home of the Oxford 250. And it's going to kick off here with Alexander getting another good restart. We're going to watch the 33 on the outside one more time, trying to see if he can work his way down into the racing groove.
He's got a small hole in between Travis Roma and Ashton Tucker, not able to take advantage of it. He will continue to ride around the top side. Tucker just hanging to the left rear corner panel of the 33. Now he drives in very well into 1 and 2. Pulling up even coming off of turn number 2, and Ashton Tucker will take that position over into turn 3. Here comes Matthew Barkhouse to try to do the same and put himself back inside the top 5.
Ashton Tucker sitting in the 4th position, looking out his back mirror at Matthew Barkhouse, saying, where did he come from? Barkhouse starting to make his presence known here. 81 laps in as he tags the curb, gets sideways, able to catch the car, and he didn't lose a position. Unbelievable driving out of turn number 4.
Very impressive save by the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. May have just about thrown all of that hard work out the window, but was able to recover. He slides again coming off of turn number 4. Brett Suggs gives him a shot in the keister to let him know that he needs to straighten this thing out or get out of his way. Coming up to 40 laps to go here, just a few more circuits around, time winding down. These guys going to start to get more aggressive, a little less patient for position. Brett Suggs all over Matthew Barkhouse trying to regain a position inside the top 5.
Suggs has a fender underneath. They're side by side into turn number 3. Shoves him up a little bit. Suggs now going to pull ahead as they are side by side to the straightaway. Here comes Suggs on the charge. He wants to get that position, and he's going to take it by brute force, looking for position 5. He's going to get the position, but not so fast. Barkhouse coming back to the outside. Still there. Door. Bumper. Clear. You're going to give it to the number 33 as he's going to take that position. Here comes the 30 to the inside.
You can see what Matthew Barkhouse sees going into turn number 3. He's side by side with Keith McClellan, but that battle will come to a pause as the caution flag is in the air once again. The 29 of Daniel Vitch is slowed on the inside of turn number 2. He is in trouble once again. So that is the reason for caution here on lap number 86. We will bring you back in, Paul. That replay button sure getting a workout here tonight. It looks like he had some contact with the 19 of Derek Gates.
Sure enough, and we're going to back this replay up here, brought to you by Kick-Ass Beef Jerky, and be sure to check them out at kickassbeefjerky.com. Use the promo code SIM500 for 19% off, and be able to check out some pretty awesome product that actually sponsors us here at Verdane TV. But we'll look at the replay. I'm going to focus in on the Daniel Vitch machine, the number 29 here from the view of the chopper. We're not sure who sponsors the chopper, but we sure appreciate them. A little bit of a shot from the 29 you see there, and what you see he's coming in through the corner, comes out in the stretch, and just another shot from the 29 sends him on around. Nowhere again for the 11 car to go, so tough break for him. But it looks like the 19's able to continue on. The 28 gets caught up on one of those sand hills there, and it actually looks like he's going to lose a lap, unfortunately. There you see the 75 of Mike Alexander and the pace car with the rest of the field going around. So tough break for Daniel Vitch. He's going to be scored 1 lap down, as is Roger Down, as is Tanton Wooldridge. So right now, currently, we're going to eyeball, looks like we got 19 cars on the lead lap, Kyle, with 24 cars still in this race.
Mark Williams was the recipient of the free pass under this caution flag, so he is able to get back on the lead lap for this restart. Been a very troublesome night for him in that number 42 machine, so now he gets back on the lead lap and looks to take that beaten and battered number 42 ride up to a salvageable finish here tonight. Looks like as they come across the line this time, the lights are out on top of the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car, so we will double them up and go back to green flag racing. Next time, by 34 laps remain here in the Keizer Auto Clinic 125 at the Oxford Plains Speedway. And Mike Alexander continuing to lead. He's been out front the entire way. Chris Roma second, Travis Roma third, Ashton Tucker fourth, and Brett Suggs will now get to restart on the bottom. He is fifth.
This time, Travis Roma able to get the charge out of turn number 4. He's going to take over that second position. We'll have to see whether or not Chris Roma can get down. He can as Suggs closes the gap underneath. New second place finisher as yellow's going to come out one more time.
Looks like we have a problem with the 20. I think this may be a 2-incident caution here. The 24 of Jake Goodwin, yeah, does believe so. The 24 of Jake Goodwin got spun around off of turn number 2. I believe that's what the caution flag came out for. And then just after that happened, the 16 of John Gahan, he gets spun around in turn number 3. He actually gathers it back up and turns the 27 to Taylor Layton.
Yeah, I'll pull up a quick replay here, and you can see we're going to focus in the 27 car, and you see he's already had some damage earlier on from the race. There you see the 16 getting turned around, so that was we'll back that up one more time here. We'll take a look from John Gahan's machine, as it looks like he may very well have brought the caution out. Side by side, he's on the outside. He gets a shot from Chris Trelli in the number 5, and unfortunately a lot of nowhere to go for the 27 and the 11, so big hits for those cars, tough breaks for those guys. Looks like they're going to be running the rest of this race with some heavy nose damage. They're going to be in the back of the pack. May very well see those guys come down pit road to see if they can repair some of that damage.
Kyle, look at this challenge up front, and now we're mixing who's in second, who's in third. That outside lane is at such a disadvantage. You have to think, though, that as we get inside 50 to go, the second place car is going to start putting pressure on your leader. Could they get to the bumper and move the 75 out of the way?
Taking a look through your leaderboard here, it is still Mike Alexander out in the front of the field. Travis Roma will line up second for this ensuing restart. Third place car is the 83 of Travis Roma. Brett Suggs in the 33 is back on the outside. He will line up fourth. And Ashton Tucker in car number 2 completes your top 5. Matthew Barkhouse, the VEINOTTE'S Pole Award Challenge recipient, he is still in position number 6. Keith McClellan is 7th in his Bud Light number 30 ride. Conrad Murphy, he's been in some issues early on in this race. He has worked his way up to position number 8, as well as John Fitzpatrick in the 78, who currently runs in 9th. And Riley Duncan in the 97 lines up in position number 10, completing the top 10. Double up once again here, 28 laps to go. Let's see if we can get a green flag run in here, boys. Mike Alexander on the loud pedal runs away from the field. Immediately, Travis Roma fills the void. He gets down into second. Chris Roma clears for third, side by side with Ashton Tucker and Brett Suggs for position 4.
Once again, Suggs to the outside as the battle to get down to that lower lane is what he's trying to do. He's got to be careful. We've seen all night long that if you pull in too easy and the car gets a good run into the corner inside of you, he's going to bang into that left rear quarter. Suggs being patient, looking at the 30 underneath him, and now he looks to see if he can keep Barkhouse behind. He's not going to be able to do it. Barkhouse following in the 30 tire tracks side by side. And he's not going to be able to get down as the yellow is going to come out one more time. Caution number 12.
We've got a couple cars in trouble over in turn number 1. The 16 machine of John Gahan and the 5. Oh, boy. Wow. Well, Paul, you're going to have fun watching through this one. I believe, in judging off of race control, I'm pretty sure that we just had ourselves a good old-fashioned short track retaliatory incident there.
Well, we'll back it up and we'll call it as we sees it here. And like you may mention, we're under caution again. We're going to pull up the kick-ass beef jerky instant replay. We're going to focus in on that number 16 car of John Gahan, and no longer in this race, so may very well have been the incident there. And we're going to take a look. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what went down here. 16 car, there you see it. It's a shot from the 24 to the 5, and no harm, no foul. It doesn't look like there. We're going to see the 16 comes low, the 29 gets the position. Great job there. 16 trying to look high on the Jake Goodwin machine of the number 24, and just looks like he dives it on down low. Gets underneath the 24, gets underneath the 67. Oh man, oh man, oh man! Hard right turn into the 5 of Craig Tully. That was a shot. If that was a cheap shot, if I would call it that here on Verdane TV.
Yeah, looking through the log here in the server, it appears that the race officials agree with the way that I kind of assessed it there. John Gahan has been disqualified from the event, so not really exactly sure what caused the initial frustration between the 16 and the 5, but definitely appears that the 16 retaliated against the 5 of Craig Tully in some way, shape, or form, took him out there, brought the caution out, and that'll be the end of his event. So he will be credited with a 24th place finish tonight and be the 3rd car out of tonight's event.
Yeah, frustration's running high, as that's what happens on a short track. The 16 started 23rd. He was up to about the 5th or 6th position at one point in this race. Found himself a little trouble and had to restart from the back, and we see he thought the 5 had something to do with it. We're going to reset the deck. Is Mike Alexander out front one more time? And they kick it off. Green flag is out on lap 105.
Just 20 laps remaining here in the Keizer Auto Clinic 125. Not able to get down to the bottom as he did in that previous restart. Chris Roma, hold up. We are 3 wide for position number 3 in turn number 3. They somehow make it through. Brett Suggs thought better of it, backed out, kept his position on the bottom side, and will fight side by side with the 2 of Ashton Tucker. He's got the position going into turn number 3. Tucker trying to hang tough on the top side, but cannot make that work. We've seen that be a problem all night long. It continues at the moment. Keith McClellan now side by side with Tucker in the number 2 machine. Tucker wanting to try to fit down. No, he's going to stay up on that outside line, try to find some momentum. He's got a little bit of space, but just not able to get it. Matthew Barkhouse stays down on the bottom, and he will now battle side by side with Tucker going into 1.
Riley Duncan running right behind Barkhouse, leaves a little gap, and now the number 32, Ashton Tucker, able to tuck back in. We'll go back out front and take a look. Good run for Mike Alexander. Clean restart. He has about a 1.5 car length over Chris Roma. Continues to keep that gap, and that is going to be really important for him. He does not want to give the opportunity for the 83 to get to his bumper.
Little beating and banging going on behind the 83 there for position. Brett Suggs and the 38 of Travis Roma did a little door banging. Suggs got on by. Keith McClellan got on by. And now everybody throughout the majority of the field goes single file amongst our front runners. The top 2 have kind of separated themselves from the pack here. Mike Alexander with about a half a second over Chris Roma. Chris Roma a full second ahead of Brett Suggs in position number 3. We've seen the 2 of those cars, Kevin, be pretty stout tonight. They've been able to separate from the field, but they just can't quite stay green flag.
Yeah, you knew that was coming. You could see it coming. They were running nose to tail 3 through 11, and we saw the 32 of Ashton Tucker get involved there. It looks like, actually, the 30, Travis Roma, just broke loose. They're doing the best they can to run wide open, and unfortunately, everybody being in close quarters, they were able to get into the back of that number 30 and send him around. So the 38 turns sideways, gets up on the curbing, and then it stacks up behind them, and you see the 15 of Barkhouse, the 97 of Riley Duncan able to get through. But unfortunately for a couple of those guys who've run in the top 10 all night long, Kyle, they're going to find trouble here with a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, that is incredibly unfortunate for some of our top competitors. With the way that this league works, it's all involved, go to the tail. So Matthew Barkhouse going to get sent to the tail since he had involvement with it. So that is going to unfortunately put a screechy halt to his impressive drive through the field tonight. He took the VEINOTTE'S Pole Award Challenge after his brother Mike Alexander decided to stay on the pole. He was supposed to start second, drove all the way back up to 6th before that incident happened, and now he is now put at the back of the field with Ashton Tucker, Riley Duncan, and Travis Roma. So that is going to shake things up quite dramatically at the back half of the top 10, and these guys will have very very little time to recover from, as we are now inside of 10 laps to go. So the pace car working the field around the Oxford Plains Speedway here. We'll see what race control decides to do, if we are ready to go back to green flag or not. We will have just a few laps left in this one. Lap 117 will be completed as they hit the stripe. Pace lights go off, so it will be 7 laps to go when we go back to green flag racing. Chris Roma has been very good tonight, up in that second place position, but just hasn't quite been able to get the jumps on the restarts and hang with Mike Alexander up at the front. Brett Suggs now on the inside of row number 2. He's been bouncing back and forth between 4th and 5th place. Now he's up to 3rd. Can he challenge for that runner-up here off this restart?
Green flag drops, and I'll tell you what, everybody is going to go as hard as they can. Alexander out front, and now Chris Roma right to his back bumper. He's going to not give him any space. Tight to the curb as they come out to the front straightaway. Click off these laps very quickly. Alexander's got a mirror full of Chris Roma.
Roma going to try his best to be the spoiler. The 75 of Mike Alexander has led the entire way. Look out, Matthew Barkhouse is off the racetrack, off in turn number 4. He's going to rejoin. Everybody's going to follow on by without any issues. We stay green. 5 laps to go here in the Keizer's Auto Clinic 125. Top 4 cars running quite close to each other. Give it about 2 car lengths at the most between your top 2. Brett Suggs pressuring Chris Roma on the back bumper. Caution flag flies again with 4 laps to go.
The top 4 cars were running under a blanket there, nose to tail, but nobody pressing the issue as Alexander is waiting for the pace car to catch up. He does in turn number 3. Pace car over the curbing, but is going to continue on here as your leader picks up with 122 laps in the books.
The issues happening towards the back of the field with the 17 of Brad Hayes and the 27 of Taylor Layton. Contact between the 2 of them got them out of shape. Layton went around, Riley Duncan went around, and a couple cars scattering across the track to avoid, so that'll bring out the caution flag. Once again, Mike Alexander will now face the first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. He has been money on these restarts all night long, has kept himself out in front. He will have to do his best to keep that perfection alive one more time. We will have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. This will be the first one to extend this race here in the Keizer's Auto Clinic 125.
A couple drivers taking advantage of the attrition here tonight. You're looking at the number 52 of Nicholas Mott running in 7th. He started 26, has had a great run to get himself up inside the top 10.
Nicholas Mott having to come from fairly deep in the field. Actually, he was the furthest starter on the field. He started dead last in position number 26. He has worked his way quietly up to 7th place. If he can survive this green-white checkered finish, he should be able to get himself a top 10 run. That is up 19 positions from his original starting spot. So great job by Nicholas Mott in car number 52 to put himself in position for a great finish here in the late going. Pace car lights are off. Field is doubling up for what we hope to be the only attempt at a green-white checkered finish here. We do have 3 of them if we need them, but this will be the first and hopefully the only one that we have to do. Can Mike Alexander keep this thing perfect, lead wire to wire, and score the victory? Will Chris Roma, Brett Suggs, or Keith McClellan steal it from him? We're about to find out as pace car goes to pit road.
He needs a perfect restart. Will he get it? He is. Mike Alexander out, and Brett Suggs going to follow him through to 2nd position. He's a car length off as they come out of turn 2 to the backstretch. They're going to tick off these laps. Lap 127 in the books, green-white checker, as Alexander has a comfortable car length coming out of 4.
Across the start-finish line, the white flag flies. 1 lap to go for Mike Alexander. He debuted new colors tonight, and those new colors are going to represent him very well into 3 and 4 for the final time. The perfect night is complete. Mike Alexander will win the R. Keizer's Auto Clinic 125 at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Second place finisher Brett Suggs taking that position away from Chris Roma in the late stages of this race. Roma will settle for third. Mike Rhino, he had some troubles earlier on tonight. He is able to come back for a fourth place finish. Keith McClellan rounds out your top five. John Fitzpatrick sixth. Nicholas Mott is able to hang on for that seventh place finish. Conrad Murphy eighth. How about Mark Williams? He's found some trouble throughout tonight's event. He comes home in ninth. And Craig Tully in car number 5 will round out your top 10 finishers.
11th place finish for Roger Down in the number 21, Travis Roma. Ended up finishing in 12th position in the 38. Derek Gates in the 13th position, number 19. Tanton Woolridge beating and banging back there. Tried to get as far as he could forward towards the end. Finishes 14th. 15th position going to Ashton Tucker. Had a great run in the beginning. Had to work his way through. He got about mid-pack. 16th position, Brad Hayes in the 17th. 18th. Or the 17th position goes to Daniel Vetch in the 29. Taylor Layton in the 27. Going to end up 18th here tonight. 19th, one lap down. Riley Duncan in the 97. And your 20th place finisher, one lap down, Caleb Urquhart in the number 11.
Completing the field, we have the 15 machine of Matthew Barkhouse finishing one lap down in 21st. Jake Goodwin finishes 22nd tonight. Wade Craswell, after that flip, finishes in 23rd. The final car that actually finished this race tonight, the final three were not a part of the finish. Cole Butcher, 24th place. Jarrett Butcher, 25th place. And John Gahan in 26th after his mid-race disqualification. So as we get things ready for our post-race show, we will send this over to a quick commercial break. We will talk to your top 3 finishers in tonight's R. Keizer Auto Clinic 125 from the Oxford Plains Speedway. Don't go anywhere. Post-race thoughts coming up here in just a moment.
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Back to the RBR, R. Keizer's Auto Clinic, 125 Oxford Speedway, 125 laps in the books. They're getting things prepped over there in Victory Lane. We're going to turn to second place finisher. I've caught up with Brett Suggs in the 33. Brett, boy, what an eventful night for you guys. And you hung tough, fought for every inch of space out there, and a good second place finish.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, what a drive for sure. Oxford is not one of my best tracks as it showed in qualifying and then translating into the heat race. Just, I haven't put nearly enough laps in as some of these guys up front. But to sneak away with a second place, I'll take it.
On that final restart, you were sitting there in third place. Finally got yourself to the inside line for the restart. You were able to find a good lane to come in there and follow Mike Alexander. It looked like you didn't have anything for him, though. He was able to keep you at bay coming off that final corner.
Yeah, I was just happy to finally, crack into the podium. And like you said, getting that inside lane is so crucial. So when we had a timely caution after making some rather risky moves, but clean nonetheless, we were able to get into third there. And that final restart, I knew I had to get a better shot out of the gate to get around the 83 Roma. But man, I think we might have had something for Mike if we had maybe 3 more laps. But it's just so hard with the green white checkered. We were about 1 car length back, maybe even had a fender under him at the line, but just super close racing. Shout out to him for taking this start to finish.
Saw some midweek footage. I think it was you. Were you racing with a VR headset when you run?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that. What's the difference in the experience and what type of VR are you using?
Yeah, so I currently run the Oculus Rift S. It's the second model from Facebook's Oculus. Um, I originally started with the first Rift about 2 years ago, and as a race car driver IRL, I really enjoy the immersion that the VR provides. So I've ran everything between one monitor to 3 monitors, and even the new curved monitors as well. But it's always seemed that the VR gives me the best insight for how the car's handling and what I can control on track. So that's the main reason I use it.
Well, certainly you must have been able to get a good look out of the left side, the peripheral, because you were on that high side a good majority of the night looking for that gap to try and get down to the bottom. You were out there all night long.
Yeah, it's a killer definitely on the tires, but that is a advantage of the VR. You can just turn your head a little bit, get a better look at those around you, and that kind of is a testament to how I like to drive. I like to keep it as clean as possible. As you probably saw on track, I made a little bit of contact with Barkhouse. I think that was just a racing deal early on, but yeah, that's another benefit of VR. Really know all your surroundings and what you can do to keep it clean.
Yeah, so the BSRM Chevrolet, you had a really good run here tonight. Anybody want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, definitely shout out to all the folks that tuned into my stream tonight. Wouldn't be possible without them, of course, as well as the Custom Matco, Speed Energy Drink, Lake Norman Power Cleaning, Brett Suggs Racing Marketing LLC, and Craig for putting this league on, and as well as you guys for always putting great broadcasts. Love to look back at them.
There you go. Second place finisher tonight, Brett Suggs. We're going to turn it over to Kyle Young. I think he's been able to catch up with our leader, our winner.
I sure have, Kevin, down here in Victory Lane. Another night of perfection here in the RBR Maritime iRacing League. This time it comes with the 75 car of Mike Alexander. Mike, you started on the pole tonight after winning your heat race and setting fast time. Literally was a perfect night all the way through. Take us through it on your end.
Yeah, it couldn't have went any better. The car was really good as soon as I got here, and I was clicking off fast laps right away, so I knew it was going to be good. And we won the heat, and they asked me if I wanted the pole challenge, but I knew this place was just follow the leader, so I figured it was a safe bet to stay up front this tonight.
Throughout the race tonight, we didn't really see you explore too much with the racetrack. It was pretty simple. You were very good off the restarts and kept that car right around that inside curb the entire night long. How challenging can it be running at a racetrack that isn't necessarily as versatile as some of the other ones on the schedule, and you know that it can be as one lane as it ended up being tonight?
Honestly, I just when we get under green there, I kind of almost turn into a zombie. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just in line mode to not miss my marks and don't come off the bottom, because if you don't, it's near impossible for anybody to get you unless they want to, move you or muscle you out of the way. But if you can hold that bottom, there's not a whole lot. Nobody's going around you on the top, so.
The first 2 weeks of this season, we visited some of the more higher banked, a little bit faster short tracks that are around the iRacing service. This week, a completely different challenge with a flat, slow, entirely circular racetrack. What were some of the challenges in trying to get yourself prepared for this race and kind of leave what we've been doing these last couple of weeks back in the back of your mind and preparing properly for this event?
It's just with the new tire here, I didn't run a whole lot. I tried it a little bit earlier on in the week, and I didn't really like the feel of it. And then I like the tracks like Nashville and Southern. I like the high banks and the little bit more speed to them. But I came here tonight, and as soon as we started running a couple laps in practice, it felt really good. I can't explain why, but it felt really good, and I just knew we were going to be a car to beat.
Mike, who helps make it happen for you on your number 75 machine? Obviously, debuting a gorgeous new look tonight, putting it in victory lane. You got to give a shout out to those who help you.
RBR Kinsman's Auto Salvage down on Ross Road, Xander Sign Group, all the guys over at Rev Racing, Matt, Mike, Keith, Ronnie. He hasn't been racing with us, but he'll be back again soon. Those guys, that's pretty much it.
He looked good and he drove good. Mike Alexander making it 3 for 3, 3 different winners in the first 3 races of the RBR Maritime iRacing League. He picks up the victory here tonight in the Keizer Auto Clinic 125 at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Kevin, it appears that we have been able to catch up with our third place finisher, Chris Roma, tonight. Chris running a very competitive race up in the top 5, was in second for the majority of it, but suffered a third place finish off that final restart. Kevin, take it away.
Yeah, Chris, just like the other guys said, it was a challenging night trying to keep yourself up front, keep any contact from behind, and especially on that outside lane. How about this second place position on the restart? I'm sure that's where you wish you would have been.
Yeah, I would like to finish it up there, but it was hard holding on the outside on restarts. I knew Brett was there. If we got enough of them, he was going to get a good jump on me. So that last restart, he took off quick and he got down the inside of me. So I just tucked it in and tried to hold on.
Yeah, it's so difficult to get to the bottom. And talk about the way the car handles here. We were discussing the track's really doesn't have a straightaway. You're running wide open into the corner with the throttle steering the car. That's what it feels like when we ran practice here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all throttle control here. Really, it's throttle from halfway. You roll through the turn for a bit, and then it's start trying to turn the car at the throttle, and you don't stop till you get in the next turn.
Yeah, we could see some of the camera angles. You guys are in the slip, meaning the car is just drifting through the corner. We made a joke that you could use this track as a drift track if you really wanted to, and you have to avoid the curbs. Really complicated to get that angle just right going into the corner.
Yeah, the curbs will bite you. That or if you drift up too high and get off camber on the stretches, they'll suck you in too.
Started in 4th, ran up front, kept the nose clean. A couple drivers had contact right there in your vicinity, but you were able to get yourself home for a 3rd place finish here tonight. Congrats on that. Tough job to hang tough in that top 5 all night long.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. It's pretty happy to get one of our cars in the top 3.
Yeah, Chris, you were the one that had probably the best shot a lot of this race of Mike Alexander. Could you see any weaknesses?
I felt if we could have got a few green flag laps, I could pull him in. I was quicker in spots, but I don't think I could have went to the outside of him. I would have had to wait for him to make a mistake, and we all know he doesn't make too many, so I wouldn't have forced the issue on him, so he would have had to slip up.
Yeah, there was one period where you guys got a green flag run. He was able to get away, but then you reeled him in and you were hunting underneath him. Would you have used a bumper?
Not on Mike. There's some racers out here I would have used a bumper, but not on Mike. He always runs me clean. We can run door to door. Hardly even swap any paint, so no.
Yeah, if you commit to the bumper here, you're definitely going to ship somebody. Well, look, a respectable 3rd place finish, it's got to help you in the points. As we look at Mike Alexander, did a great job. He was running 4th coming in, and he's going to be right up there with Brett Suggs, and you were able to keep it clean. Looking forward to going to Langley next week.
Another fairly flat track. I like the flatter track, so hopefully we can have another good run there.
There you go. So, Chris, quick shout out to anybody you want to say hello to before we wrap up the broadcast.
Yeah. The the guy, I just want to thank all the Roma Brothers Racing guys for hanging in there. Some had a tough race, but everybody's progressing pretty good. So
Yeah, and we have to give a shout out to Owen Mahar and Craig Weigel, the admins who were looking over you guys. There was quite a bit of extracurricular activities out back, Chris, and they did a good job trying to keep everybody tucked in there.
yeah, I don't know. It's at the end of these last two races, it seems like the back of the field's having some issues back there. Hopefully we can work through that so we can get some green flag laps at the end and have a race to the checkered, but we'll see.
Well, there you go. Chris Roma, your third place finisher. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week when we head into race number 4 of the season. Kyle, it was an exciting night, as it always is when you go short track, fender to fender, bumper to bumper, and we see some tempers. Will that carry into next week?
Well, we definitely saw some of that. It sure will be a story to focus on moving into next week's event at the Langley Speedway. But Paul, I believe that you have caught up with a couple of the race officials from tonight's event to talk some things over.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. And we're actually caught up with Craig Tully, one of the administrators here of the RBR Maritime group here, as he is the head honcho, the big boss man in charge. And Craig, man, great race so far. You ended up finishing 10th here tonight. A lot of cautions here tonight, but first things first, we'll get the business end out of the way. Walk us through your race, brother.
Yeah, I got to correct you. I run the league. I don't admin the race because I'm obviously involved in the race. So, I kind of step away once I do my little driver meeting spiel. But, yeah, no, it was a kind of expected. It's a tight track, and that curb, if you hit it, it kind of skips you into the guy on the outside of you. So I expected some cautions, but that was a little bit more than I expected. But, and like Chris said, the back of the field kind of doesn't have a lot of patience, and it just kind of causes a lot of cautions. But I was glad to get back up through. I was involved in a few, got a couple of EOLs. It was the first time this season for me to get an EOL, but got back up to a top 10, so that's fine. Top 10 in this series, there's a lot of fast guys, so top 10 is decent.
Yeah, for sure. And we got a lot of fast guys, as you made mention. Most of these guys we've seen Tim's Corner Motorsports putting on the clinic, as it were. Big time sim racing towards the beginning of the year throughout March, April, and May here on Verdane TV. So it's pretty cool to see a lot of these names, and it's pretty cool to see Craig Tully in charge of the RBR Maritime group, as it were. Let us know who gets it done for the 5 car. We saw you started 16th. We finished top 10, so that's good enough. But let's who makes it done for the 5 car?
Yeah, top 10 thanks would be my wife, obviously, my newborn son, Crew, my dog who sits behind me and lets me do this and not bug me at all. Obviously, our Keizer's Auto Clinic for sponsoring the race, and I got them on the car too, actually. Royal Volts for sponsoring the series. Vino's Truck and Auto for sponsoring the series, and obviously you guys. You guys do a great job, and even the races I'm not involved, I always watch, and I can't wait for Tim's stuff. So, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on here at Verdane TV, and a big time shout out to the Volts. They provided us with essentially the theme song for tonight, so it's pretty cool to listen to those guys as they're on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much anywhere that you pick up your music throughout the day here. Now, you and I talked earlier on tonight here before the race here, Craig. Now, you made mention next week's we're doing some legend racing. When you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we ran our season 1 all super late races. I mean, some people love the super late. I love the super lates, but I had a lot of people kind of ideas thrown out there saying, why don't you mix it up? I'm not for like doing totally different cars every race, because I feel like you should try and get used to one car and one car only. But we did kind of come up with just a mid-season break from the super lates, and we're going to go legend racing at Langley, which is a short track as well. Legend cars take a little bit more beating and banging, so it should be really fun. Should make a good broadcast.
For sure, and here at Verdane TV, we're absolutely looking forward to that. Just want to give you one more opportunity here, Craig, to give you the microphone and let us know who gets it done here for the RBR Maritime Group and the number 5 car.
I forgot to thank Owen and Craig Weagle for doing the admin race directing. You got to deal with all that. You guys probably don't hear all the mic up stuff that happens, but there's a few, hotheads for sure. I was one of them tonight, but yeah, I got to thank Owen and Craig for dealing with that, and the RBR guys for helping put this together, and you guys.
Good deal, and that's about gonna wrap us up here for the post-race show. And man, oh man, race 3 of number 6. Check that. But these guys only score 5 races as they've got a drop week here, Kyle. Man, it's going to be pretty cool to follow these guys on Tuesday nights as they we don't really have too many leagues that do the drop races, so it's pretty cool. Essentially, for anybody that's new to the sim racing world, that's basically taking your worst race, throwing it out the window, and scoring your best 5 of 6 races. So that's one of those things, Kyle, man. Who do you think that's... You got to give that to Mike Alexander, you would think, right? He's finished top 3 so far for the first 3.
Well, it's definitely going to play an interesting role in the championship fight throughout the rest of the season. With it being a 6-race series, we're now halfway through and on the downhill slope, so the championship points battle going to become a more prominent discussion piece for the remainder of the season. And then you add in the drop week effect, and that just heightens it up even more. So having a negative race will absolutely be... It won't be the kiss of death eventually, all the way around. You'll have, obviously, you don't want to suffer any negativity throughout this season, but if you do, you know that you can crumple that up, throw it away, and have an opportunity to still recover from it. So it's going to be a very tight points battle as is. Just 6 races is not a lot of time to really have things shake and turn around and make many different changes. But you add in that drop week into the mix, and it's definitely going to play a major role.
Now, we actually just heard it from the man himself, Legends at Langley next week, so that's going to be super exciting. But then the 2 races behind that, back to the super late models, Myrtle Beach Speedway and North Wilkesboro, new to the iRacing service, but definitely not new to our hearts. Going to be some pretty good racing here for the final 3 races. What do you think, Kevin?
I certainly am looking forward to the late models at Myrtle Beach. The track was perfect for them. And North Wilkesboro, it was a stalwart of the Cup Series for so long. It'll be really cool to end the season at that track. Just a lot of heritage and NASCAR lore to that racetrack. Always fun to go there.
For sure, and it's always fun here at Verdane TV covering these RBR Maritime iRacing groups. Definitely be sure to check them out on Facebook because they've got a group. And if you're looking to race, definitely one of the spots to be as, for one, they broadcast all of their races here on Verdane TV. So why not race with somebody that works with us? But we're going to take a quick look here at the upcoming schedule. As you can see here, haven't updated the graphic. We just did the RBR Maritime group. We just did the October 20th race, which was pretty exciting here tonight. And this Thursday, running with the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series. The Angry Tree Guy, that's actually the Angry Tree Guy 24. That's going to be this Thursday at 8:15. Going to be running at Lime Rock Park, so be sure to check that out. And then right back here with the RBR Maritime group, October 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to be running that Legends race at Langley, so that's going to be exciting. And the next Thursday back here with some Sim 500 action for the Daytona 150. And you can see at the very bottom of the list, but not the least important, Tim's Corner Motorsports makes their return to Verdane TV for the Super Late Model 300. The big race, the big show, going to be November 20th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be qualifying every single night that week right here live on Verdane TV, so you do not want to miss that action. Head on over to Tim's Corner Motorsports on Facebook and check out their website as well to Get signed up for that and get yourself, get your sponsors, get your race car here on Verdane TV. You definitely don't want to miss that. And man, oh man, Kyle, we've been working on the winter and the fall season here. Just been craziness over at the Verdane.net website trying to get that schedule updated. Just signed on with the East Coast Winter League, the SK Modifieds, Dylan Kopeck and his guys from Stafford Motor Speedway. Those cats are going to be running Sunday nights. They're going to be running double headers. They're actually running a light series before the Pro Series. The Pro Series is going to be broadcasted here on Verdane TV, 8:30 on Sunday nights. But on 6 o'clock, non-broadcast race, which means this broadcast producer gets to go race some SK Light. So I'm pretty excited about that, Kyle.
You might be excited, but I think the rest of the field may be concerned and may need to watch.
Yeah. It'll be fine. We're going to do our best. But man, oh man, great race here tonight for the RBR Maritime iRacing Group. Such a thrill to have these guys for the Keizer's Auto Clinic 125. And man, oh man, did these guys put on a clinic. But we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for welcoming Verdane TV into your homes, watching in your living rooms, your bedrooms, your kitchens, wherever you are watching the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitch broadcast. Man, if you're watching with the party, be sure to take a picture, post it on social media, use that hashtag Verdane TV, because we definitely love that stuff, and it kind of pulls on the heartstrings just a little bit, as our major goal here at Verdane TV is to entertain the masses. And man, as always, we hope this broadcast made it to you in good health. If not, we hope you get better real soon. But man, oh man, craziness out there. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Verdane TV. Thank you to the Royal Volts for providing us with tonight's entertainment, tonight's basically intro and outro. The King of the Road, and man, awesome tune. That fantastic band from up there in Canada. Be sure to check them out on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere that music is available. We're going to send it home with the Royal Volts here with the King of the Road. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We will catch you on the flip side.